A black woman harassed a white woman because she was wearing braids. Hi, I'm Maria Paula Bermeo, clinical psychologist, and on this channel we talk about various topics and we analyze them from a psychological point of view. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Before starting this video, I want to remind you that I give in-person and online therapy. So if you need a consultation, please feel free to reach me out on my social media, my phone number, my email. All of them will be listed down below on the description box as well. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, it will help me out a lot. And if there's a specific topic that you would like me to talk about, leave it in the comments down below or feel free to DM me on my Instagram. I'm always open to suggestions and I love interacting with you all. People on the internet can be wild and too woke, insulting other social media users, even famous people, for cultural appropriation because they wear a hairstyle, clothing item, or accessory that apparently they shouldn't use because they are not from whatever race. You get the drill. To be honest, I've been wanting to gaslight myself into believing that this is just a social media issue, as it is easier to hate or criticize someone behind a screen, but then someone does it in real life, other person films and posts it on social media, it gets viral, and I cannot lie to myself anymore, which just happened, hence why I'm making this video. This ex post went viral recently. Black woman tells a white girl she can't have braids. What you think? And here's the video attached to the post.
That shit is ugly as f***. We wear that shit.
It's braids.
Take that shit out now.
Are you being for real?
Take that shit out now.
Okay, what's your problem?
Take that shit out now.
You were dressed in the store.
But take that shit out now.
Bro, what the fuck?
Take that shit out.
Braids. It's
That shit ugly as fuck.
what is going
That
on?
shit is ugly though.
Hey,
Like,
I'm
look at your fucking hair.
It doesn't look bad.
That's
Hey,
ugly.
please stop following us.
Just analyzing their gestures, the tone of their voices, their body language, you can clearly see the black woman's entitlement is insane. She literally saw the blonde girl in the street wearing braids and persecuted her just because. Her screaming, "Take that ish out now, that's ours, that's ugly," while opening her eyes widely, moving her hands signaling she's making an order and following her is just an explicit manifestation of it. And you can see the white woman first is kind of scared as she doesn't do more than walking away. Her arms and shoulders are stiff and tense. She is clearly confused because someone is harassing her because of her hairstyle and obviously upset because a random person is yelling at her, demanding that she takes her braids off just because she wants her to do so. The black woman is actually lucky because other individual with less patience would have responded in a negative way, not only yelling back at her, but it could have gotten physical. Just with this clip, I can assume also the blonde female is relatively a good person, not because she is white, but because of her reaction to this event. She's really trying to just cut the other woman off and stop the unilateral fight that's going on there. Sure, she responds with, "What's your problem? It's just braids." But by the tone of her voice, she's simply attempting to be as assertive as she can be with someone that is screaming uncontrollably. But let's read some comments to see what other people have to say about this. Vikings, Romans, and many others wore braids centuries ago. That was easy. Original braid source, Egypt. Everyone's been wearing braids since the beginning of time. Nobody owns a hairstyle. Suppose white people follow behind blacks, telling them to stop using a straightening iron or dyeing their hair blonde. It's ridiculous. People need to live and let live. Braiding wasn't invented by black Americans. This is just envy and racism. Because of these users, I actually got curious about where did braids originate, so I decided to do my research and here's what I found. Africa, considered the cradle of civilization, is also home to the most famous and intricate braids or plaids, but braids have been worn around the world. The oldest record of braids is a carved statue of unknown origin called the Venus or Woman of Willendorf, estimated to have been made 30,000 years ago as a fertility fetish which features woven hair caping a voluptuous body. Little parenthesis, if you ask where's the Venus of Willendorf, well, she's from Austria, so we could say braids actually came from white civilizations. Anyway, Let's keep reading the history of braids. Egypt. Ancient Egyptians have a reputation for invention including paper, toothpaste, calendars, math, and even condoms. And while they may not have invented braiding, combining three strands of material into one, their hairstyles reflected wealth, age, and social group. Young girls wore braids or ponytails. Royalty wore braided wigs, as did elders to hide a lack of hair or grayness. Braids were adorned with berries, petals, linen ribbons, or as a show of status, threaded with gold. Braids were often used as extensions to thicken hair. For men, braids were a symbol of dignity and not worn by every man, but those who did braided them in a style of Tutankhamun's gold royal mask. Then we have Greece. To differentiate themselves from Egyptians, classical Greek women grew hair much longer and pulled it back into chignons. Many styles involved braids fixed to the head and decorated with flowers, headbands, ribbons, and pieces of metal. Braids were a sign of wealth and the leisure it affords. The more elaborate, the better. Italy. During the reign of the Emperor Augustus, detailed hairstyles came into fashion as an expression of wealth and status. False hairpieces made hair thicker and longer. Sophisticated braids and knots were adorned with pearls and jewel pins. Americas. In Native American tradition, hair is a signifier of one's spiritual practice. Combine represents the alignment of thought. Braiding is the oneness of thought, and tying is the securing of thought. Flowing strands of hair are considered individually weak, but when joined in braids, they demonstrate a strength in unity. Letting hair flow free demonstrates harmony with the flow of life, and braiding indicates thoughts of oneness. China. For centuries, the Manchu dynasty forced people to wear hairstyles prescribed by rank, and rice farmers wore braids down the back. When Yat-sen, the Chinese leader of the late 20th century, overthrew the Manchu dynasty to bring people out of feudalism, he encouraged braid cutting, which became common in urban areas. But braids were so deeply rooted in the rural tradition that murder and suicide were committed in their defense. Africa. Arguably the richest hair traditions have been sustained, some might say reborn, from their origins in Africa. Tribal cultures endowed hair with spiritual significance and immense power. As the most elevated part of the body, hair was believed to be the conduit for gods and spirits to reach the soul. Hairdressers were trustworthy members of society, senior women, family, or close friends with whom tribal bonds could be cemented, and grooming rituals often lasted several hours, even several days. So it's not as the black woman said, braids are not exclusively from black people. In reality, it is a hairstyle that has been used throughout history by many races, men and women, all around the world. And if something, I would say braids are a universal thing that have adapted to the different contexts. And it means that cultures have been shared and exchanged, which just shows the appreciation we are able to give to others. I wear a full set of braids occasionally, and I sleep with a silk bonnet. And nobody is allowed to complain about it because a black woman gave me permission. Not that it was necessary anyway. It's my hair and I can do whatever I want with it. No one culture owns braids. This argument by angry black women is ridiculous and out of hate and ignorance. Exactly. We are always talking about autonomy, independence, my body, my choice. Then why do we need permission to do our hair in a certain way? It's just a hairstyle which again has been shared through different times and cultures, and now it is just something that exists. Judging someone for wearing braids because they aren't black is being racist and is discriminating someone by the color of their skin, which ends up going against the equity minorities so much claim to want. I mean, we have Beyonce doing country music and winning Grammys for it. Should we be screaming at her too? So about that and a Beyonce picture. If we went by the posture of the black woman from this video, Beyonce is appropriating from white culture. People have pointed out how her skin has gotten lighter, she wears wigs or dyes her hair blonde. She just won a Grammy for a country album, a white people's genre, and I haven't seen white people telling her she's white fishing. We're woke individuals to call her out. Aren't they being hypocritical? They aren't calling her out because if they did, they would be swearing on a poor black woman that is thriving in the industry, and they cannot do that. But if they don't criticize her, they shouldn't judge anyone because we are all just exchanging cultures. We are learning from others and appreciating those elements when wearing them because we think they are nice, and that is actual culture. I'm not even going to mention the racism. This is just plain rude and it's harassment. You're following someone and yelling at them and telling them they look ugly AF and demanding they dismantle braids from their hair right now. It's borderline threatening and very rude. Mind your business. That is ignorant, rude, bully of a woman picking on someone half her size because she can, right? Pure harassment, pure mistreatment, that is stalking just because she was able to do so. Someone mentally healthy would have just looked at her as another human being living her life and move on, not bully her and force her to change her hair immediately. Insanity, what a racist, aggressive racist. If a white woman did that to a black woman, it would have been all over CNN, MSNBC, CBS, etc. What a bully. Imagine a white woman yelling at a black woman for straightening her hair. I love that Trump declared America colorblind. We are united. Thankfully, this behavior is limited to a few radicalized blacks. Yes, if it was a white woman yelling, "Take that off," to a black woman with a straight blonde wig, that girl would have been in jail already for being racist, violent, harasser. She probably would have been beaten. Her face would have been blasted all over traditional media outlets. Leftists would have been marching and demanding for laws to protect black people so they can wear whatever they want. But because it is a black woman attacking a white woman, then progressive individuals are quiet, which only shows their selective extraction and that they will only act when it benefits these minorities that nowadays are not oppressed but rather the oppressors. Listen, I'm talking about this as a mental health provider because this is the sort of things that happen when we don't set limits. Dysfunctional behaviors get magnified because we're giving up to outrageous demands and then culture gets twisted. I get black people wanting to be included, to be treated as actual people and not as objects or slaves, that they didn't want to be stereotyped by the color of their skin, and that's actually fine and fair. But turning it into now black people are going to impose what white individuals can do, that's just trying to be terrible people because no one is putting boundaries to them. And I know not all black individuals are like that. I'm not generalizing. I'm talking about those that are too woke. Because minorities have gaslighted half of the population to believe they are suffering from oppression when they have more rights than anyone, and this causes that these groups get more benefits than everybody else, more open doors than others, which generates a monopoly of rights that falls into these vulnerable groups, which makes them more entitled than they should be and become the actual fascists they say they hate, which is mentally ill and dysfunctional. This viral video we're talking about is just an example of how this inclusion has gotten out of control, which needs to change. It's time to stop listening to atrocious demands. It's time to stop demanding for ridiculous stuff because otherwise we're just creating a new dictatorship that is directed to the other side of the spectrum, one that makes humans have a distorted perspective of the world that is not real but only creates more division to treat the most naive ones as puppets that have no independent opinion, which is detrimental for our mindset and our development as a society. Is there something you learned from this video or something that you would like to add to the conversation? Leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to like this video and share with someone that may find this useful. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you never miss out from more interesting psychology content. Thanks for watching.